Hi all, welcome back to more of the other side of the hill. So, um, this is my part 14. So still here tonight. Not quite sure if I'm going to complete a full part. It's a late nighter here. So, where are we? Yeah, command phase. Nothing more. Well, to be honest, I've got part 12 and 13. I haven't watched them back yet, so that can be the snag when you push on a bit. You don't get to look things over, and then things do go wrong. It can have big knock-on effects. So command phase, yeah. I'd looked at this before pressing record. Well, actually, I'd looked at it before starting it. Hang on. We've got this guy here first. The vacancy, and with no question generals. So OB Sud. I've got it here. The rulebook, I think. Right, well, I thought I did. Dismissals. Right, appointments. Yeah. I don't know how, in what order. I think, no, you choose the order, don't you? Yeah, we choose the order for this. And I don't know if any other generals, I'm still a little unclear of this, if any general could go in here. I mean, it should still be under the conditions of, I'm sure this is clear in the rules, I'm just sort of glossing over it tonight. If a general already in command general space is appointed to a new position, post a vacancy. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Anyway, we've got over here in the seniority side of things, available seniority generals. We've got 9s here anyway. We're wanting to get Kesselring out here, because he's the one that's going to go in this OB box. It says there, Special Luftwaffe cannot be appointed as head of army group or activated as leading general if his marker is in the OB Sud box, roll 1 additional grade die. My guess is you've still got to, I mean, it could be anybody that goes in here then, I think. I mean, you clearly want to put this guy in here because he's going to have some effect to combat. I think that's what Carlos had mentioned before, that there's only this guy and there's somebody else that can affect whether it's the Western or the Eastern OB. Yeah, and I was a little unsure about if you just had, right? Let's just say that we chose right now, okay? Because these are both 9 seniority. So let's just say that we chose Von Lieb here to go in this OB Sud box. And here's my question for today, or tonight, at the 4-minute mark or thereabouts. And I'm sure, I get the feeling this is probably clear, but one solid vacancy marks have been removed. No, that's playing multiplayer stuff. Anyway, what I'm saying is, it looks to me like we could appoint him as OB Sud, right? Is his combat ability still applicable? Because I got the impression from the designer that it's mentioned a couple of times that there's only this guy and the other guy that can affect the OBs in combat. And it clearly says it there. It talks about the OB. But I mean, if this guy was in here, which I think he could be, he says draw 2 combat cards and choose one, the current combat. Can't he still be used? I mean, it must be clear somewhere else, Grant. And what I mean by that is, we could have him as OB Sud, and let's just say the combat is, where's somebody? Yeah, in Turkey here, and then we've got Von Rickenau as our AG head in the Southern Front, and then we've got a leading general. So we've got 3, you know. But I get the feeling that this guy doesn't affect combat if he's in fact, can he even be in here? I don't know. I'm sure if I read over this part again in appointments and maybe the OB side of things, I'm pretty sure I would find it a bit clearer. Maybe I need to look over that again a little bit. I'm sure it's quite clear, but anyway, what we're going to, and maybe it's the case of like, why would you not have this guy? Well, if he does affect combat, but he affects combat in the attacking side of things, he affects combat in defending and rough. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to get. I'm going to read into that, but we are going to put Kesselring. We're going to put Kesselring in here because I'm pretty sure that's what has to be. Now I need to find his marker. Right, so we're going to appoint Kesselring to the OB SUD. So that goes in there. Vacancy marker goes away, and then he does go in command, because it says there in the box, it says in command generals, it's got AG OB, so yeah, he's going in here as well. I'm sure all that nonsense that I was talking about is quite clear, and I will try and have a look at that in the rule book, just to clear things up. But I'm pretty sure that's right. Whether I did have the option of putting this guy in, I'm not 100% sure. But I feel like I get the feeling that we wouldn't benefit from this, but we will benefit from his combat thing. Because I've read that a couple of times, that the designer said that there's only that Kesselring and somebody else that can affect combat as an OB. Okay, right, we've got one other vacancy to fill in Hungary here. Now, again, this is a point where you could, we know we've got to, hang on, I've not got my tab up, hang on. Okay, I'm just glancing back at the command segment here, and I'm looking at these sequence of play cards, and then just remembered that these are built just for the solo game. It's just that the last part of this says, after all vacancies are filled, you may replace one general in an AG head or OB box, and it's got in brackets, return them to the available generals with another general with a higher seniority from any location. And at first, when I was reading that, I was thinking that was to do with the co-op side of things. But this is based on the solo game. And that important note on page 18, I think I started saying, it doesn't really specify that it's got anything to do with any... remember, we're reading the rules for solitaire and cooperative play, but it's in that orangey colour, which I think at the beginning of the book it tells you that these are just... well, hang on, it's tan. No, it's not tan, sorry. The orangey colour is just important rules, I think, isn't it? It says to ignore tan and blue background, ignore these paragraphs when playing 4-player games. Right, I'm a bit confused there. Anyway, that section that's important says, once all vacancy markers have been removed from the map, the head of personnel may replace one general marker in AG head or OB box with the marker of one of his generals with a higher seniority factor. And that's kind of like what that's saying in the sequence of play card there. It's breaking it down to make it solo readable, if you like. And replace one with another general with a higher seniority. Yeah, that's the same. So that's not a bit that I kind of registered as well. And this is a big part of the game, isn't it? I've spoken about it before, like, messing about with these generals is probably this is maybe how you're going to find success or make it easier for yourself, I think. But it's still, there's a lot of work involved, I think, in looking at all these generals and deciding where they need to be. And, I might be saying that just now, and it's pretty straightforward that because of seniority, it's, there's a limited amount of generals that are going to go here, right? But we've got to pick one of the highest seniority generals in the available general space, or an activated or in command general with a seniority equal to or higher than the highest seniority available. Right, so our available highest seniority general is von Lieb, which has been about already. And this is, we're talking about putting in there. So we can put him in there, or again, we could look at, well, there's nobody activated, so we can't look at that. But we could look at an in-command general that's got a seniority of 9 or higher. So, von Rundstedt, Kesselring, who's in the OB box that we've just placed in there, or the other one is von Bock, isn't it? So, yeah, they're options, but I don't know. Until I get to a point where I'm really needing a general here, but then I think come that time, I'm not going to have the vacancy available to do that. So this is probably an important part to do that. Let's just say I kick off Operation Barbarossa right now, and we're sitting in Hungary and we can invade Ukraine. And I've put von Lieb in here. Is he going to be any good? Well, he probably is, actually. He can go against any faction, attacking in any terrain, draw 2 combat cards and choose 1. So, yeah. It's probably, I'm not saying set up, but it's probably, well, I don't know. Is it the easy choice here? Well, we're going to do that. We're just going to put von Lieb. So he's back in command into Hungary, and he's counter still here. Yeah, I'm not definitely sure that I'm going to do that, but I think we need to build up armies here, Romania, Bulgaria as well, because you've got the Black Sea, you've got Ukraine, you've got Belarus, so in Poland as well. We need to move things across, and I probably should have been doing that back in 1940. I'm sure that's how the Germans dealt with things. I'm sure they started moving things there. Well, I suppose I've got to move it and not make it look obvious at what's going to happen, but I'm sure there was. Yeah, anyway. Right, anyway, I was paused there for a bit. I think we should move on. Although I keep saying I think the generals are a big part to this game. Maybe I'm spending a bit too much time going on and on about it. Right, so I think that's everybody. There's no other vacancies needing filled, is there? Don't think so. There's only one army here. We've got an AG head there. We've got that guy there. Yeah, looks fine to me. And we've got our OB sub south one as well. Right, so moving on to Axis offensive. Right, we've got 2 offensives here. So a black Axis column is placed in each area listed in the military directive card. Right, so they only had 1 pawn each, these 2 directives. So let's deal with this one first. The invasion of Vichy. Area 21, we're going to put our pawn, and we've got the prerequisite. The status of France is Vichy, Area 21. Yeah, so southern France. And then when this happens, my guess is we're going to have something's going to happen in there, isn't it? well, yeah, I mean, the card says, so activate Area 21. Yeah, activate Area 21 and Area 26, 3.41. So 21 is here, and 26 is North Africa. So let me look at 3.4.1. Yeah, so 3.4.1, activating countries. This not the USSR, that's a different way of doing things. In all other cases, activate the country as a Western Allied country following these steps. Place a Western control disk in the lowest number 3 sector in each of the country's home areas, but not in bases. So, and the lowest number? Right, what's going wrong there? Right, something's wrong there, because this isn't going in Frankfurt. Place a Western control disk in the lowest numbered free sector in each of the country's home areas, but not in bases. I'm not getting this at all. We attack from the lowest to the highest, don't we? That doesn't make sense. I'm doing something silly here, I think. I don't know if this is the Vichy thing. Could it be the Vichy thing here? Hang on a second. I've no idea what I'm not getting here. But it tells us when France collapses, and that's in 4. Right, hang on. France surrenders. That's what happened, wasn't it? We played. Fall Gilb. Paris. France surrenders. That it tells us there. That's what we'd done. We took Paris. France surrenders. 4.7.1b. I'm sure it's something simple I'm missing here. So 4.7.1b says remove Western controlled disks and Western disputed alignment markers from all French home areas in Belgium, Holland. I'll just open things up there. Right. Move access control disks in Belgium, Holland and Northern France to the highest numbered sectors if they're not already there. Move the access control disk in Southern France to the 2 Metz sector if not already there. And then occupied markers go in Belgium, Holland, Northern France. We've done that. Add 1 to resources. Flip the status to Vichy. Vichy is a neutral country comprising the Southern France 21 and Northern Africa 26 areas for the rules that govern Vichy C 8.2. Yeah, I've done all that properly and they were neutral. So why am I... I can understand this area, that lowest numbered sector. This is one. We always want to be in the highest numbered sector, don't we? We're in number 3. We control this area. There, we'll occupy Greece. It's in number 2. It's the highest area. Why? Sure, I mean, I was expecting the control marker, Western control marker, to go in Marseille. And so why is it saying the lowest available number? That's what it says. I've not had that much to drink. Place a Western control disk in the lowest numbered free sector in each of the country's home areas. Is that maybe a rat and I've just been reading it? Right, hang on. Right, okay, I'm trying to think about this, and we've done this with well, we've done it with Romania and Bulgaria, didn't we? We activated them as maybe we diplomatically took them. When we attacked Turkey, we had to activate Turkey. Yeah, okay, this is starting to make some sense now. And the Western control marker went in the lowest area, and we were in Greece. So it went in 1, Istanbul. But I must be doing something wrong here, because this is going to go into Frankfurt. And what do we do then? We attack. I'm getting something wrong here. Maybe I'm going to have to leave this for the night and come back to this with a fresh head, because I'm just not getting my... I mean, I suppose it's maybe I shouldn't be activating the country right now, but it did say that Vichy became a neutral area, and that's why this is the way it is. Yeah, I might have to sleep on this, I think. Hang on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to leave this for the night. I'm just looking at a designer's comment on a question that wasn't quite related to it, but he said in order to make an attack on Spain, you need to diplomatically occupy Vichy, or aggressively with this card. He mentions Anton, that's the actual operation, and the special in the current, what's that? I've got the wrong glasses over here. In the current season, the Met sector is planes. That doesn't help me either. I don't think I should be activating Vichy. I don't think. But that's what it says to do. It's a neutral country. It's a neutral... Even the special rules for Vichy don't seem to cover that, I don't think. There's nothing more in activating countries. It's just activating countries gives you the 2 sort of bits. 8.2. That's where it tells you about Vichy, but it doesn't. There's nothing helping me there to say what I should be doing here. Nah. I don't know, and it doesn't make sense putting a Western control marker there. It would make sense putting it there, yes. And having a dispute, and then we've got to attack Marseille. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. And then North Africa, which is the other part of Vichy, it would make sense putting in Tunis, yeah? putting the control marker in there, and that would be Western controlled, and then we've got to attack in there. But I was kind of hoping that we wouldn't need to be doing that, and once we took Marseille, job done. So I don't know. Okay. I'm going to have to give up on this one and find out more whether I need to ask a question. Well, why not? I might. It feels like it must be a stupid question here. And there's an obvious solution that I'm just missing. But maybe if I leave a question in there overnight, it'll help to come back. I'll probably run out of time here anyway. So I'm 25 minutes in there. Right, I'll cut this and it'll just be a pause for you if you're watching it. And I might get back tomorrow. We'll see. But I've got a good shot of things today, so I shouldn't complain. Right, and I'll try and find the answer to this before I hit record again, hopefully. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, back to finish this part 14, isn't it? I think I'm about 26 minutes in there. And I don't know how long I was scratching my head last night for trying to work out how this situation in southern France worked. Got a bit frustrated, so I don't know if it dragged on a bit up to where I am just now. I did put the question out there, and just before I got an answer, and you might say, yeah, right, Grant, okay, but before I got the answer, I realised what it was. It was Martin that answered the question. You know, I'm saying, how can we possibly place a Western control disk in Frankfurt because it's the lowest number space? And then it dawned on me, and I don't know if it was because I was a bit worn out last night. I was pretty tired and I'd had a few beers, so we could blame it on one of the things, I suppose. But then I realised that it says, hang on, I've got the page still open, in the lowest numbered free sector, that's what it says there. Let me see what how he worded it. I was expecting to be reading that slightly different, so hang on. Yeah, it is actually the words free sector. And so Martin replied, I'll not read out my question. I mean, I was talking about it all last night. It says, although it isn't defined anywhere, it seems clear from the rulebook that a free sector, quotes, has to be one that isn't in control by another faction. Correct, yes. You see, and the thing is, we control Frankfurt. We control everything that's lower than the sector that we're in. So I couldn't get my head around that or not. I don't know. He says, because a sector with an Axis control disk and all sectors with a lower number are controlled by the Axis faction. And that was a quote as well, out of the rules from somewhere. Frankfurt is controlled by you and consequently not a free sector. Well, it does highlight it there, 2.4 in the rule book. So that's probably just what he's read out there. 2.4, it talks about area control. Yeah, a sector with an Axis controlled disk and all sectors with a lower number are controlled by the Axis faction. Just what he's read, just what he quoted there. He carries on, the only free sector in southern France is Sector 3, which is where you should put the Western control disk. So it is as I thought it should have been. I just couldn't get my head around it. But thanks, Martin. It did come to me, like I say, but it was just before I read your post. I thought, you know what? I was going to go and edit my post saying I think I've worked it out, but he had already replied. So good stuff. Carlos also added a comment to this, saying, if you're attacking Vichy, that will be a problem for Libya, because your single pawn will not let you attack North Africa. Actually, it's been mentioned here that there is no military directive card to attack North Africa. My suggestion as an optional rule was to allow the local offence military directive to be eligible from 1941 onwards to cover for this gap, or to include North African areas where you can place a pawn with Sonnenblumen Ada. which is obviously the operation name for it. Okay, I don't know. I'm just playing the game for the first time. I'm not really sure. I'll maybe find out what. Well, he's talking about attacking from Libya and North Africa. But I was kind of hoping, maybe this isn't going to be the case then. I was kind of hoping that if we take Vichy and take southern France, that this was going to fall. But that doesn't sound like that's going to be the case now, the way he's talking there. You know what? Let's just move on, Matt. And like I say, first attempt at the game, so we'll find out things that we shouldn't be doing and whatever. Okay, back to this, because I should be able to finish this part, and then I'll have to get away and do other things. So we put our pawn in there. Yeah, sorry, we're activating Vichy, aren't we? So I need to go back to that bit again. So it's 3.4.1, I think. Yeah, activating countries. Place a Western control disk in the lowest numbered free sector in each country's home areas, but not in bases. So we're going to get 2 of them. So he's going to get 1 in Marseille, right? And then in the other area, North Africa, is going to get 1 in Tunis then. Okay, and then also place a disputed alignment marker in the alignment box of all countries' home areas that contain an access control disk. Place a Western alignment marker in the rest of the country's home areas, including bases. So, including but there's no bases anyway. So this one, North Africa, southern France is going to get a disputed marker. And that's where we're going to have the combat. And North Africa is going to get a Western control marker. Right, and yeah, I mean, I suppose I just had a thought here. I mean, this is but this France fell, and this is Vichy. So in actual fact, these should be a different. I mean, I don't know if they had a different flag, or probably not. I don't know. But I don't think this one's affected, is it? Because we've got control of that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's day 2. Does it not talk about that on the card? Yeah, in fact it does. It just says to activate 21 and 26. Yeah, I probably read this last night. So that's fine. Yeah, so it doesn't talk about Northern France being an option here, which is fine. Okay, so we've done that. We've activated that. Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're placed the combat pawn. Right, so we're going to go into combat here in southern France. We're going to... Now remember, we need to keep in mind we've got this. And, yeah, I mean, the way it's worded, I'm assuming I can use it whenever I want, after dice rolls and everything. Just to add a hit if I need to. So it's a nice one to keep up your sleeve. Hopefully I'm not going to need it here, but you never know. Okay, so we're going to draw a combat card. Yeah, hang on. Right, so draw a combat card for the Allies. They are defending in 1941. Ooh, we got a 3 this time. That's correct, isn't it? So they're getting 3 dice this time. So we might be needing some general help this time. So, and now we activate our generals. Right. I can move that along a bit. So we've got, this is the Western Front. So no, our OB is in the Southern. We've not got an OB in the Western. Or the Eastern, for that matter. Right, who's in charge of that area though? Strauss. Is that? Yeah, Strauss. So let's see. Let's hope he can do something here, because I think we might need it. We're not getting the extra dice for the air naval control anyway. So Adolf Strauss. Can be used against any faction and attacking in any terrain. I think I already looked at this already. The controlling player may re-roll 1 die in the Axis combat roll. The new result must be applied. Okay, well that's good. So we're getting him, and then we've got to a point, a leading general now, and reminding myself it is, needs to have at least one German army. You can see we've got 4 German armies there. So it's the highest or second highest in the available pile, right? So it's going to be 7s or 6s. And there's quite a lot to choose from here. Now, well, let's, before I start looking at them, let's just get, the allies are getting 3 dice. And, no, I pick my generals before they roll the dice, don't I? Yeah, you do, Corey White Grant, yeah. And then we're going to be getting, based on just the armies there, we're getting a black and 2 greys and a white. That's not bad. It's pretty good. The black's a guaranteed hit, but they could potentially end up with 3 hits here. However, the greys, almost a guarantee. I think it's only a 1 in 6 chance at that. Everything else is a hit. So I'd like to think I've got a good chance of 3 hits just with what we've got. But we've got the reroll from Strauss. But yeah, I wouldn't mind something else here, I think. I think I would like to make that, get another dice or be able to adjust something. So let me go, I mean there's quite a lot of generals here, you can see. 7s and 6s. So let me have a look, see if I can come up with somebody. And just checking, we're attacking into plains, aren't we? Yeah. And it talks about Metz being the plains area for this season. In the current season, the Metz sector is plains. I can only think that's for when they come attacking back at us. Means that any tank results that they get are going to be bad for us. So I can only assume that that's what that is to do with. Right, okay, let me keep looking. Where are we? So I'm pressing the wrong button here. Right, well, we've only got 1 general that can help here. It's not the best. I think we've played them before. Because that's attacking or defending in any terrain against the Western faction. Cancel 1 air result, an allied combat roll. Yeah, that's all I can get. I thought I'd done all one, but it's Rommel and he's restricted to the areas that he can go into. He would have been better, I think. Yeah, it bumps up one of your armies to the next higher level. It would turn a regular army to a panzer army, but he can only be used in Libya, Egypt, North Africa and Middle East. So none of them. Right, I don't think there's anybody else there that can help me, so I'm going to just have to go with this guy. I mean, cancelling an air hit is not really what I'm concerned about, but right, okay. Well, it's going to get harder as the game goes on, so in 1941 is probably, this is when they're going to give a bit more fight back, and then it's going to go downhill for the Axis after that. Right, we've selected our 2 generals. Well, that was our AG Army Group Head, and that's our leading general. So we're going to roll the dice for the Allies. Okay? Yeah, so I'm just thinking this Abwehr, if that's how it's pronounced, might be getting used right away here, because I think don't really want to fail with this. Well, you would never want to fail, but I think I want to get in here so that then we can have a go at Spain. I think. Right, let's roll these. Remember, I can re-roll 1 Axis combat roll, right, so it's nothing to do with this, but I can cancel an air hit here. Right, that's pretty good. In fact, that's probably really good for us. So, well, I don't need to be looking at these just yet, do I? That's their results. But what we can take from that is they're only getting 1 hit. We're going to cancel that with our general, and there's going to be 1 combat card drawn. We're guaranteed 1 hit here, but you know, we're sure we're going to get 2. Right, so it's over to us now. So Allied combat roll. Right, wasn't any additions to the roll. They're not defending in rough. They didn't have air naval control. They've not got adjacent allies. No. Okay, so it's our roll now. We're not getting any bet. Yeah, also remember you've got paratroops, Grant. I don't think I need them here. But I suppose I could wait and see the allied roll here before I maybe consider using my paratroops. It seems like I say, that again is another reason for rolling these dice separately. It lets you see. So it actually benefits the Axis player here. And I'm going to continue doing it this way anyway. You know, I could say now, oh, right, I could really do an extra dice here. Let's bring in the paratroops. Whereas, like, some folk have been playing out the rolling all the dice together, you would have to decide that there and then, wouldn't you? You couldn't then tag on the paratroops after you've rolled all the dice, surely. Right, okay. Enough of that. Go on, right. So four dice we've got. Okay, well, the whites turned out a blank, but we're good. We're good. So we've got 2 hits, 3 hits, haven't we? Yeah. So there's the results, right? Grant, you should really start picking up the pace on this a bit, like showing the dice. Show the dice in the tray, and that's fine. You can deal with it then. So yeah, we got 3 hits. The tank counts as just one. Hey, no, the tank counts as 2 hits actually, because we're attacking into planes, aren't we? Yeah, I forgot about that. Mind you, they could have got. Did they get tanks? They do. It's only 1 on it, but anyway. Right, so we're going to have 4 hits to their 1. Right. Well, first of all, we use our leading general's ability to cancel that, because we don't want that getting knocked down as well. And then secondly, we're going to draw a combat event. So let's do that. Let's see if it might mess things up. Right, no symbols up here to worry about. Italian Frogman. Roll 1 grey Axis die. If the result is a grey hit, air naval control value in the southern front +1. Oh, nice. Okay, so 1 grey die. We're looking for a hit symbol, the cross. Roll 1 grey die. The result is air naval control value in the southern front +1. Right, here we go. No, not to be. Right. Okay, and then that just gets discarded. It's just a one-off event, and that's that. Right, and then back to this. Right, well, we've done away with that. So we're winning this. So again, we get to advance, and then if the next sector is plains or river, we can advance again. Right, but don't think that's needing done. So we did succeed. So Metz, we're in Metz. We advance into Marseille. That knocks that out. And I want to fuel turns that. Yeah, it does. It does that right away, because we've got full control of that now, haven't we? Right, where's... Yeah. So we now occupy southern France completely. No need for reductions. That's it. We're all good. Combat's over. We don't deal with a military directive segment yet. We'll get that later. That's right, yeah? Yeah, we just advance. We don't need to... Yeah, that's fine. Good. Okay, so that's all the dice taken care of. Combat card can go away. I'll just drop the dice there. So combat card can go away, and the generals can... we've got Adolf Strauss goes back in the in command generals, and this guy was activated, so that's him had his shot for the year. Okay, oops, sorry, that was shoddy. Right, that's Axis offensive done, isn't it? So moving on to Western offensive then. Right, I need to go back. Hang on. Right, again, first thing to check is for landings. Again, there's no landing markers yet. So next year we're going to start seeing that happening. So none of that. So combat pawns. And disputed with Western controlled discs. Well, we've got... no, we can't, because we took a no offensive there, can't we? Yeah, exception. Do not place an Allied combat upon an area containing no Western offensive. So not happening there. I don't know if I don't know if that was the right call or not. Turkey's, I think, going to get attacked here, but it feels like I can deal with that better. I don't think I could have dealt with this too well. There's no other disputed, is there? No. So there's no other disputed. So now we're looking at Axis-controlled areas that are adjacent to Western-controlled. Oh, right. Well, this is... Yeah, I wondered about this. Because you've got Iraq and Iran into Turkey, and you've got the Middle East into Turkey. Mind you, I think you're just placing one pawn. Right? Only one pawn can go in an area. Surely there must be something in the rules there. So let's go and have a little look. It does indeed say there on page 21, only one combat pawn can be placed in any single area. And remember, it doesn't count up armies from both areas. You just roll one combat card, so I'm assuming that's just taken care of with that. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it goes. So is there anything else? Probably not, actually. Great Britain's not adjacent. It needs to land. Spain's neutral still. So, yeah, I think that's it. There's just the one here. Okay. Right, let's deal with that then. Yeah, I'm not going to go back to the cards, but I'm just going to leave it there because I know what I'm doing now, I think. Right, we're going to draw a card first because they might still not attack, but I think 41 it starts getting pretty much, it happens. Right, so draw a combat card. 1941, they're on the attack. Right, so we've got an aircraft and 3 dice, so they're going to roll 3 dice. Right, I've got to do my generals first. Or do we roll this? Do we roll for the special effect first? Draw the card. Activate the generals. Allied combat roll. The result in the combat card may include a special effect which must be resolved before the Allied combat roll. However, this is still after activating generals, Grant. Right, so we do need to activate our generals before we roll the airplane, before we then roll the Allied combat roll of 3 dice. Right. So who have we got here? This is... Oh, we get our OB, don't we? This is the Southern Front. Right, so we get a Kesselring. Can't recall exactly what it is he does, but... Albert Kesselring. So it's defending in rough against the Western faction. So, we are. We're defending in rough. Okay. So what does he do? If his markers in the OB sub box, roll 1 additional grey die instead of 1 white die for rough terrain. Ugh, I'm not rolling a white die. Oh yeah, I am. I'll tell you why I am. I'm rolling it from that. However, I might lose that white die because they get to roll that air. Is that right? They get to roll that air first. If that turns out a hit, that's going to knock down to 4, then I'm not getting that white dice. If I am getting that white dice though, he's going to be able to change it into grey then. Because we are, the combat is in rough terrain. So, okay, well, he's our OB sud, so we're going to end up with 3 generals here, aren't we? This is one of the times that you getting an extra one. So, and we've got von Reichenau here as our... So, attacking, he's just for attacking. So he's not going to do anything for us, but I'll put him there anyway. And then we need a leading general. But let's just sort of again work out what we might be looking for here. Well, he's the only general that's going to do anything. But it's really good. Yeah, I remember not wanting to use him before. I wanted to keep him for a better. I don't know. Yeah, I mean. Well, if they get the air result and knock our air naval control marker down by 1, we're only getting to roll 3 dice here. Now, they're all rolling 3 as well. We're getting 2 guaranteed hits. I'm sort of feeling like taking a chance again and not using this guy, but I don't know if that's silly or not. He just seems really strong. I mean, really strong to use when you've got 2 panzer armies, Grant. You know, we get 1 hit for every black die that's rolled. I think, I don't know. He can also be used attacking, but only attacking into rough. When we go for, see, that's into planes. We're going to go for Middle East. Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry, I need to go back. Okay. Yeah, because I would be advancing into here. That was silly, Grant. Right, hang on. Cause I was thinking that's my objective over, but it's not. We had 2 objectives, and I think that's why I should have placed the pawns right away from both of them. So this should have been placed here. Yeah, invasion of Middle East. Right. I'm going to keep the combat card. I know that means I've got information. I will be doing what I said I was going to do if this succeeds in advancing 2 armies into there. Although, yeah, you know you're going to get attacked back in Turkey and you're only going to have 1 army. That's unfortunate. Now, yeah. I think this is why I probably should have put the no offensive marker in here, shouldn't I? Okay, well, we're committed to this anyway. Let me take this away for now. Okay. So going back to the Axis offensive here. Yeah, placed in each area listed in the military directive cards. Yeah, that's what I should have done. So, this is the combat card you should have drawn for here, Grant. Bleh. Okay, I'm going to rewind it, and we're going to draw this. That's the combat card we're going to draw. Because that was the next card. I hate messing about things like that. I know I could just shuffle the card in and take it again, and it might be that this is better for them attacking back. I don't know, but I'm going to just play it as let's just rewind things. This is the card that would be on top. So, well, actually, they're defending now, aren't they? Well, they're defending with 3 dice then. This is obviously a pretty decent card, isn't it? So they're going to be defending with 3 dice. Kesselring. Yeah, I'm going to get Kesselring still. No, you're not. He's defending, Grant. Well, he is our OB. It's only when defending and rough. And recognise they are, yeah, attacking in any may reroll. This is may reroll the ally combat roll. The new result must be applied. Okay, and we're getting 3 dice. They're getting 3 dice as well, though, Grant. Well, you're getting 4 this time because you're going to get this. It's only when defending that they get to roll that dice first and maybe knock that back. Mate, you still need a general, a lead-in general then. So hang on. Right, so I thought Guderian is going to work. Do not apply mandatory reduction of the head of the army group decides to conduct a second advance after combat. I mean, okay, it doesn't help any dice or that while we're rolling, but the intention is to get Damascus, so we would be able to advance in there without the reduction. I thought he was the only one who was going to do it, and then I realised Rommel can be involved in the Middle East. So, and yeah, if the combat one German army in the area is considered of the immediately superior type. So I get to choose. Well, actually, I have no choice there. That would become a Panzer army. That's the only choice I've got there. So I'd have 3 Panzer armies. Well, no, the extra white dice is not counted as an army, Grant. No. If the combat result is not a defeat, the player may move this card back to the available deck. So he goes back, and we can keep drawing him again. So he doesn't become activated in that set. I don't know here. I'm not sure. Recognize re-rolling an ally combat roll. Okay. I mean, I do want to do the second advance, so Guderian's going to help with that. I mean, to be honest, Rommel, we've got 2 Panzer armies as it is. Yeah, I'm going to pick Guderian, I think. So we're going to pick him. So he's not going to help with rolls, but assuming we win this, and again, remember we've got the Abwehr card, so that we might want to use. Right, so let's do it. Why am I there? Yeah, I'm not looking at the cards, that's why. I combat roll. They're in planes. Yeah, they're in planes. We're going to get the +1 for the air naval control though, and the Southern Front being at 5. So again, well, they're getting 3 dice. Their card was 3, so let's deal with the 3. And remember, we've got Reckenow here who can re-roll one of these, and then you've got to take the result. Okay, so let's see what they get first. Oh, that's horrible. Because that tank is 3 hits, isn't it? 2 hits, sorry. So they've got 3 hits and an air result. Right, so Reckenow says controller player may reroll 1 die in the ally combat roll. This new result must be applied. Right, I'm going to reroll the tank then, I think. So reroll that. We got another air result. So one of them is going to turn into a hit. So I think they're going to be sitting at 2 hits. Right, and then so back to us. We're getting 2 black, 1 grey, and remember 1 white for the air naval control being at 5. And yeah, there's nothing more. We do have the Abwehr. I didn't want to see that white turn up as a nothing. Oh, we've got a tank though. So I think they've got right. So that's a nothing. That's what we've got, and we're going to get a combat event. Right, let's deal with the... yeah, I think we're okay. We've got 3 hits, I'm pretty sure he's got 2. So let's deal with the combat event first. Yeah, we didn't start the combat. We didn't roll any dice before. Right, so Bismarck, roll 2 western dice. If at least 1 air or 1 hit is rolled, air naval control value in the western front -1, with any other result +1 to that value. Right, so roll 1 western dice. And we don't want to see an aircraft or a hit, so we need a tank here. Right, we get the aircraft. So that means that the air naval control value in the western front is a -1. Oh, western front. Yeah, okay. So that's the one up the top. Right, so that goes down to 2. Right, that's that event done. There's nothing fancy, nothing else on it. It goes away. Right, so looking down here, we can get rid of that. So we've got I need to remind myself here. Combat results, just in the rulebook here. I don't know why I keep scrolling along to the cards, but no, you just need the player aid for this, Grant. The player aid tells you about the symbols, doesn't it? Where are we? Ally combat rule, Axis combat rule. Right, here's the results. Table 1, combat resolution. So that's a hit, and then the aircraft, the first result subtracts from the air naval control value in the combat's front, and then the second one is a hit. So that knocks that down by 1, and then, well, that basically turns into another hit. But it's fine, because the combat is in planes in Jerusalem, so that counts as 2 hits, the tank. Let me just double check that one. Yeah, sectors terrain is planes, 2 hits. Okay, so we've got 3 hits and they've got 2, so we win. So again, we get to advance. This time we take a new black disc, Grant, not blunder like the last time. So that comes from there into Jerusalem, knocking them back into there, making this now disputed. We do have the chance of second advance. Hey, now we need to move the armies. Right, now here's where, well, I'm gonna have to draw a new combat card anyway. So, but the fact that I know there's a chance they're going to have 3 dice, I should really just move the 1 army in here, shouldn't I? I know I was talking about coming around going for Egypt, but I'm going to need more armies here. I mean, I really need to leave the Panzer armies in there, don't I? I think. Then this area is going to get attacked as well, isn't it? Yeah, it is. This area is going to get attacked too. Right, now hang on though. No, hang on. Remember the way the cards work. This will not be... We won't have this occupied until the military directive card's been resolved. That's right, yeah. So it won't be until next turn, and by then we can maybe strengthen this with some armies. But this is definitely going to be attacked. So I think I'll only move move the regular army into there, advance him in, and obviously the AG head is not coming because we've only got 1 army. I need to advance at least 1 army in. So I do that, and then we're going to do the second advance into Damascus, but because we've got Guderian, I do not apply mandatory reduction for a second advance. So we take Damascus. Oh, that does automatically happen, Grant, in this case, doesn't it? That's going to become occupied, isn't it? Which means that Middle East will get attacked, won't it? Yeah, I'm thinking we need to wait until the card... But no, that's the reason that card just says, oh, hang on. Oh, no. That's fine. Yeah, this happens right away, isn't it? That's why it doesn't say that anything happens down here apart from their naval control. I mean, you've took the territory. Ooh, well, what do I do there then? That's a bit rough. Well, I think instead I advance a Panzer army then. I'm not going to have an AG head as well. Right, hold on. Maybe you don't want that. Does Rommel... Can he be defending as well? Yeah. Yeah, and can be used in the Middle East. Mind you, if the combat result is not a defeat, that's a bit risky, isn't it? It's just that I can turn, if I bring a regular army into there, it can become a Panzer army if I used Rommel. But I really don't want to not succeed and then lose Rommel for the rest of the year. Mind you, if the combat result is not a defeat, so I would imagine a draw is an attrition, isn't it? Yeah, so that's not a defeat. So as long as I don't get less hits than them, but I don't know. It's starting to get hard already here. It's difficult because I couldn't have any more armies in there anyway. You know, you're limited to how many you can have. Yeah, I can now go and strengthen these back up, but we're going to get attacked first before that. Yeah. Right, okay. I think I'll do that then. Yeah, I should have put the Western no offensive into Turkey, shouldn't I? And then I would have been able to advance 2 armies in. That was silly. Yeah. Right, okay. That's done. This does become occupied right away, which I was sort of thinking it wasn't. But as soon as we reach as soon as we control all the sectors, which if we're in the highest one, then we do, then we take control, and we can't even get an AG head in here. So, right, I'm gonna have to wrap up here. So that now should be the Axis offensive, right? That combat card's done. Well, maybe we can draw a better. Well, we're gonna have to draw one for here and here though. Kesselring goes back, Reckenow goes back in the in command. Guderian goes away. Special, when dismissed or room from play. Right, that doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, so he's been used. And can go away. I mean, they can come back if the post becomes available and they've got a higher seniority than you're available, so they can get involved again. Okay, I'm going to leave that at that now. That's 41 minutes, 26 I think it is, so it's over an hour. Right, I've moved that already onto the Western offensive. So, yeah, I can see this Abwehr card getting used, in one of these combats, I think. What I do is I can maybe use Rommel in here, make that Panzer army, and then use the Abwehr for another hit. See, we've dropped our air naval controls dropped as well, so we're definitely not getting the extra white dice. So, not good. Right, I'll get away for now. Hopefully get back later, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay, cheers.